Today, I wanted to talk to you about 3 editing mistakes that you might not know that you're making while editing your photos in Lightroom in 2025. That's this year. It's weird to think of like 25 years ago was the year 2000. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't like thinking about it. Thanks. And this is really all surrounding the editing process that would go into a relatively neutral photo. If you're going ahead and doing something super stylized, you may still find this useful, but at that point, we're just throwing paint on the canvas. Do whatever you'd like. Jumping right in with mistake number 1, not liking and subscribing to my video. You know I had to do it. It's cringe, and I apologize. I love you. Say it back. Mistake number 1, separating your subject from your background and not keeping them neutral to the scene. Lightroom has been amazing in its upgrades over the past few years. Although I have some complaints about the software sometimes, I do appreciate that it seems that Adobe is at least trying to constantly push forward with new features, new updates, those kinds of things. And one of the features that's come out in recent years is the automatic background selection tool. This is obviously something you could do manually. You used to have to like brush in all the details and then go from there, or you could just throw it over to Photoshop for a bit more of a fine-tuned approach. But now, with the click of a button, I can just simply separate my background and subject. Easy peasy, and it does a pretty good job. But with great power comes great responsibility. And with these new tools, I see a lot of subjects not matching their background and things look flat, or they look like they were taken in a Walmart photo studio in 1997, which bring those back, actually, they do need another moment. But this arrives at our theme for the day, everything in moderation. When you're making adjustments to your background or to your subject, make sure that those things match each other and that you're doing everything in small steps and increments so that you're not completely blowing one out or making something look super flat against a fake backdrop and those kinds of things, because it can be tricky. Mistake number 2, clarity. Just all of it as a whole. This one is something that irks me because I think a lot of people play around with clarity and add a bunch, especially for landscape photos, and don't actually know what it does. So I'll explain clarity. Changes contrast in midtones. Well, that settles it. I'm glad we're on the same page now. It all makes sense. Changing clarity affects the midtones, and the midtones are the area between the very darkest darks and the very brightest parts of an image. The midtones are in the middle. Middle gray, Macy gray. They can have the appearance of adding sharpness, and if pushed too far, makes the image look kind of deep fried or crunchy. And if taken too low, often results in like a dreamy effect and can look kind of messy. If you are using the clarity slider, coming back to our theme of moderation, please try to use it sparingly. And as with any other tool in Lightroom, ask yourself, is this truly adding or taking away from my photo in a meaningful way? Or am I just moving sliders to move sliders, which I am absolutely guilty of. So please don't think that I'm better than anyone else, because that's not the case. I find that in my landscapes, any more than 10 on the clarity slider in either direction, and it starts to look kind of weird for me, so that's my personal preference, and that's where I leave it. And the final mistake for this video is not using the calibration section. I know you've seen it all the way down there, and you've said, what is that? And you don't use it. And I say that because that's what I did. This section has been so helpful for me, especially with portraits when I'm trying to dial in the perfect skin tone in really challenging lighting situations. Now, what is this? And why is it different than the color mixer? You may be asking. In the color mixer, you're really targeting specific colors and then making adjustments to just those colors individually. In calibration, you're adjusting the values of red, green, and blue in relation to each other. So if you think of our RGB color space, it's made of exactly that: red, green, blue. Each pixel contains some amount of each of those colors plus some value of light. So if we adjust the green hue slider, we're also in turn affecting the red and blue values of the image as well. I'm just gonna slide some around and you can see. Yeehaw! This is also another section that I can get carried away with sometimes. So something I find useful as I'm changing the sliders is to max out the sliders in each direction and then pull it way back to like 5 or 6. That way I'm not getting anything too overcooked. I can still stay within the bounds of my neutral edit. And with that, those are my 3 mistakes you may or may not be making in Lightroom in 2025. And at the very least, hopefully these are new tools that you can add to your toolkit if you come across something challenging or if you just wanna try some new stuff. So thank you for watching, and until next time, bye.